Welcome to the IDP Playbook. Tyler can't be with us today because his life's hard and it's a billion degrees in Texas. So he's not in the mood to talk to anybody. Instead, we're coming to you with a special guest, Breeze. I'm sure you all know him from the old IDP episodes and from his random occurrences on the regular show. You can find him at Breeze IDP. I'm your host, Drew. You can find me on Twitter at DrewDotsonNFL. And in kind of a bounce out of retirement, Breeze is doing some work over at Roto World now, putting up their IDP depth charts. So I figure better time than ever to get talking on some IDP with them. How you doing, bud?
I am doing great. I'm sitting on my deck. About 10 minutes ago, we were talking and you could see me, and now it's all dark, and I kind of look like a serial killer on the camera. So I'm doing good, though. How are you?
I'm pretty good. But, I mean, in all fairness, you live in Chicago, and I did it for a year, and I was ready to kill some people. So I don't blame you. And instead
I'm in the suburbs. I'm okay.
Depends on what suburb you're in. Why don't you go move to Elgin and see how many people you don't want to kill?
I'm okay.
That's where my grandpa lived. When I went to go visit him, I'm like, can we go now? Get the fuck out of here. But instead of, farting around talking about food, we're going to just jump into some IDP topics. And we're going to start by talking about, the biggest changes in IDP for this year. What situations, especially team situations in general, that saw the biggest shift. And we'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and a lot of their changes changed based on, who they brought in. They bring in Jack in the draft, and that really spells the end for Posluszny there, doesn't it?
Oh, he's dead. I had him in one, so I'm in two Dino leagues still. They're just hometown leagues. They're very people shut off for the off season, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And when that happened, I was asking some people, please tell me Paz can still play another year. And some people were, and I just had to get rid of him. And I got super lucky. I got rid of him for a little. It's a very custom league. It has a free agent draft. There's no pickups, but I got a slight boost in the free agent draft where I'm going to go from like a mid-range LB3 to like Mark Barron, and I also got Shaq Thompson. So I am floored. But yeah, he's done, man. It just makes too much sense to get him off the field in passing situations. Keep him on for leadership, keep him on for teaching Mac what to do, but they've made it crystal clear Mac is not going to play strong side. He is the middle backer of the future on that team.
Yeah, I think the biggest signing, though, is going to be Brandon Gibson, because it really brings in confusion on what they're going to do with I knew
Cyprian.
his name 5 seconds ago. No, not Cyprian, the Sample. I knew his name when I started, and I'm like, S names. Smart? No, that's not it. Just try and guess. But it's really not sure what they're going to do with Sample, because it seems like they had some confidence in him last year. And unless they're just going to use them in some kind of 3 safety set, which I don't know why they would. And I know you don't like Cyprian, so
no, I don't think that's going to happen. Sorry, it broke up there. But me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So, well, they have a plan for Sample. That's to take over for Cyprian. I have been one of Cyprian's haters for quite the while, and it's still Cyprian's job. He's first team right now. He gets the first shot, but if he plays like he has been his entire career, Sample's coming in. Sample is a thumper as well, and Gibson lets them both play up at the line. So if Cyprian can't play well in the box, he shouldn't be on the field because that's his best attribute. 3 safety looks, I don't see it happening just because, I mean, this team is loaded. Not only do they have, they just Ramsey fell into their laps. But then they went and got Prince Amukamura, and they have Aaron Colvin, who's not a superstar, but he's very solid. They got
more than usable as a number 2.
And they have him as a 3, and then they have Devon House too, who's more than usable as a 2, and they have him as a 3-4. Those guys are all. So I don't see them putting 3 safeties on them ever out there because they have so much depth at corner. But yeah, that team is just loaded with talent. It's one of those, you know how it is. You're a Saints fan. There's a ton of talent on that defense. It's will they put it all together and actually use that talent?
Part of the problem with the Saints defense was shitty coaching, so we were off. They never got enough snaps to do damage. Not that they weren't efficient when they were on the field. It was just like, oh, cool, 3 and out, or I'm at 3 and out. I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know why I said that. It's like, cool. They ran for 60 yards in 2 plays. I guess we're gonna let them have the touchdown again, and then Breeze will put it right back to them. And then now they're tired. Fantastic. Nobody gets any points. But it's really I'm so happy that the linebacker core turned out like it did, because now Fowler gets to stay at end, which I know you were predicting doom and gloom for, and I never wavered. Granted, that's mostly because I refuse to be realistic and I only believe in what I want to believe in. And Fowler was one of those that I refuse to not believe in. But he's gonna stay on the line. I'm not really touching anybody else on that line for IDP purposes, though.
So for Fowler is lined up to have a great year this year. There is nobody behind him that's going to threaten him for any snaps. He's going to play 80, 85% snaps, which that's what you want from a D-end. You don't want any more than that, because then they're tired and they aren't effective and they don't get to the quarterback. But I'm still like, we are not friends in this situation. This is actually crazy because we're so opposite of each other, but we don't actually yell at each other whenever we bring up Fowler. It's one of the weird things. You and Tyler both are on Fowler's God, and I'm on Fowler's could be God, but I think he's better suited for. And this offseason, they tried their best to get Vernon. They tried their best to get Robert Ayers, and they both fell through. If one of those happens, Fowler's a linebacker. So, and the thing is Fowler's number 1 comp is Khalil Mack. Fowler is so good, and like he's not that I'm only gonna beat you on the edge thing. He is a player that can dominate the edge by holding it against the run, just holding that, and making guys bounce it back inside, or just he does not let guys upfield. He can hold that edge, and he's profiled extremely well at Sam linebacker on that defense. Next offseason, if they get a true Leo, he's going to be a linebacker. So I'm not saying sell him right away, because this year he's going to do what he should. But midseason comes around and someone goes, damn, he's awesome. Here's top money or value for him. I'm gone. But other than that, I really like Malik Jackson in DT required. And that's just because he's cheap.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't do anything special in terms of IDP, but he's going to get snaps, and he's just good enough to be startable.
Yeah, he's more of a real-life player. I mean,
yep.
He could get 8-9 sacks this year, maybe, but he and my favorite thing about him is he's not on the Broncos anymore. So our friend that isn't here today, his team just got a lot worse, and that just makes me happy, because as a Bears fan, I need to be happy about other teams getting worse,
Is the other part of the Broncos getting worse that Danny T thing that you seem to be so happy about.
I mean, he's good, but he's still only the second best linebacker on that team.
And that's right. There, I
Because
mean, you
my
got Shea McClellan.
Jarrell Freeman is on the Patriots now, actually. So it's my homeboy Jarrell Freeman. But yeah, I love Jacksonville. I know this is an IDP episode. If you're one of those people that have no respect for yourself and you still play team defense, this is an up and coming one where, man, they could put some damage. Because even though you don't have really two electric pass rushers in the nickel, you're going to have like Ryan Davis. They drafted that guy I can't even pronounce out of Maryland, Nagoy. I don't know what it is.
I know what
Nagoik or something.
I can't say it either. I'm not even gonna try.
So it's going to be him, Ryan Davis, who's going to play this mixture, defensive end, Sam linebacker, all over the place. But they have Telvin Smith, who he can get to the quarterback when he's on a blitz. They have Miles Jack, who can cover anyone, can cover a lot of ground. I mean, if Jack does play for Paz in the nickel, he's going to be batting balls around, interceptions, Tayshaun Gibson interceptions. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, really, if they want to bring Team D into an almost respectable area, I feel like some sort of tackle count would be more useful. But at the same time, that might actually be rewarding shitty defenses.
Yeah, then it would just be a game of play against the high run. It would just be play against Chip Kelly. Maybe not on the 49ers, but play against a team that runs a shit ton of plays because you're going to get a lot of tackles for doing nothing.
Especially the teams that run the ball more, which Chip Kelly does. Hopefully he keeps doing, because I know how much you and I love Carlos Hyde.
Well, I mean, you can't stop. I mean, they're never going to have to throw the ball when he's getting 8 yards per carry at the end of the year,
And I mean, who really wants to leave the ball in Kaepernick or Gabbert's hands, really? I mean, at this point, I would rather start Jeff Driscoll just to see what happens. Because I feel like we already know what's going to happen with the other two.
I don't know. It's Gabbert time. So the only thing, I will say one thing about Jacksonville, and I might get people mad, but is it realistic? I was just thinking about this. Is it realistic that they sub out Telvin Smith on third down and bring in Jack? If they don't want to take the leadership off the field, the play caller of Paz, is that a possibility? Because I'm saying 1%, but Telvin Smith, if you can get LB 3 value out of him, 4, I'm swapping out Telvin Smith for Alec Ogletree any day. But if that happens, man, that would just, I don't know. I think it might be a possibility, or am I don't have Telvin Smith anywhere. Am I just hating on him?
I think you might just be hating on him a little bit, because I think they're going to want to breed him for that leadership role anyway. So why not leave him out there and, trial by fire on that? I don't see them taking off potentially their best defensive player just, so they can leave on an old fart who can just say, "Hey, look at that guy. Let's tackle that guy." I feel like they're gonna. That may have been an oversimplification of what they do, but
man, I'm even though Tyler's not here, at least we have the 5th grade analysis from you going on tonight. I'm sorry, Tyler. I love Tyler. It's just I miss him right now that he's not here. But I mean, this is what we do. We make fun of each other. So
it's so much fun to make fun of each other, especially Tyler. Because when he's in a good mood, he doesn't care. When he's in a bad mood, he flips out, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Although I
So
think we pounded that defense.
just a little bit, and I feel like let's move on to another, Pete Carroll system, or at least a child of Pete Carroll, and that's going to be Atlanta, where we brought up the name Vic Beasley. I don't know if we did it before the show or now. I can't remember already, but Vic Beasley is going to be a linebacker. I mean, I said it last year, and I feel like somebody here might have accosted us and said, "Nah, he's going to be an end." But
He was an end last year, so I was technically correct.
which is the best kind of correct. But I mean, if you didn't sell, I feel like we all advise to sell if you did have him, if you could get decent value out of him. And you're probably right about Fowler. If he starts doing well, if you can get top 6 end value for him, flip him. And I'll probably do it too, as much as I love him, just because IDP is so fickle. But in terms of the rest of the defense, Deion Jones is really the only guy I'm that interested in this year. No, that's not true. I like Neal as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, we could always draft Paul Warlow. We know how much you like him.
Yeah, I almost feel bad. I was so mean to him on Twitter. Every day I was like, man, this guy's just terrible at football. And then he tweeted me back and was like, hey, man, I'm not worse than the carrot monster from Sesame Street. But no, yeah, I remember last year. I think every show we talk about Vic Beasley because so many people. He's such an interesting prospect, being a top. What did he go
Top
11?
7?
No, Kevin White went 7, and he went after him. So I think he was like 10-ish.
Yeah, I think 9 or 10, something like that.
So I know I was hanging with Thor from FFCC and Tony, and we were all hanging for the draft. And I was like, please trade the number 11 pick for Vic Beasley. And I'm talking this year, like Bears. Vic Beasley is made to be in a 3-4. Like, do that. Instead, they moved around, got Leonard Floyd. Thor threw stuff and got all angry. I'm okay with it, but we said it last year. You said it. You were right on with Vic Beasley. Said he just can't cut it as a 4-3, and I was like, I got him at linebacker price. I'm gonna sell him when he is a D end. He got a D end. I sold him. I made a profit without doing anything. But the worst thing about Vic Beasley is he's so miscast that there's a good shot he's not even going to play even beyond the field in base. He wasn't last year. Like, you couldn't put him against a tackle and tell him hold the edge when they power run right to you. They couldn't. And the other problem with Atlanta is, man, I've been looking at Atlanta last week, and they have. I tweeted. I was like, Atlanta. Looking at defensive linemen in Atlanta, I now feel like a girl who had 8 people ask her out for Valentine's Day, like on a date, but all 8 of them are grown men and they live with their parents because there is no good options. Like, it's mediocrity down the board. Yeah, I don't want to own any of them. Deion Jones. The problem with Deion Jones is it's possible they kind of use Worlow and Deion Jones, get him up to speed, because Deion Jones doesn't really know what he's doing. I like Devondre Campbell simply to the fact that he is getting crazy hype right now. And it's not even from fantasy community. It's from everybody watching, all the beat writers, everybody at the mini camps. He's getting all the first team reps over Sean Weatherspoon, who was my binky.
3 years ago.
He was so good and just got zapped by that injury, and it was Achilles. So lesson: if a guy gets an Achilles injury, there's a chance he's not going to be the same guy. I love him, but yeah, Campbell's getting all the snaps. He's getting everyone's saying he's making all the adjustments. He looks comfortable. They also don't have pads on. And one of his things is he lacks instincts. So we'll see. Yeah, Neil, I want Neal. And then I guess a sneaky ad is maybe Alford if you play CV required, because Desmond Trufant is an elite corner that no one talks about.
Right. They're not going to be throwing his way.
Yep. But and he's there's talks that he's going to shadow the number one anywhere. And there's a lot of good number ones in that division. So yeah, that's pretty much whatever you do. So I've been trying to look around and find out who's playing what on this defensive line. And the thing is they're swapping everybody. They're swapping Shelby, Claiborne, Babineau, MBU. Don't even know how you say it, but there's a guy with a name MBU. Muba. What's his name? Courtney Offshaw. It's just they're just swapping it. So what they're gonna do is everybody's gonna play 50 to 60%, and they're all gonna be rested, and you're not gonna get any value out of any of them because they're just not gonna have the box score production.
Yeah,
or the plague.
I just lost you there for a second.
I said they're the plague. Just stay away from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I normally do with Atlanta players anyways, but I figured I could make an exception for an LSU player that went there. But, I mean, he kind of fits their mold in terms of players, you know. He's real fast, but he's real dumb type of guy. But,
yeah.
I mean, he's just barely smarter than God, that I almost said the R word. That the corner Claiborne we sent to the Cowboys, who got like a 6 on his
Claiborne, right?
Yeah,
Maurice Claiborne.
Morris Claiborne.
Yeah.
He got like a 6 on that the Wonderlick. Yeah, like that's almost impressive how dumb you are. Like, I'm surprised you can breathe and walk at the same time. And I mean,
honestly, I think to get a score that low, you actually have to like be smart enough to know what the right answer is to pick the wrong ones. Because I think like once you, like there were certain things in high school I remember, like if you get under like single digits in the ACT, like a monkey can get a 10 just from filling out the circles. So, you know.
Yeah, it's ACT, the ASVAB is the same way. It's like if you're failing that, you're a special kind of stupid.
Or you're really smart and you want the bad score, that you're fading the right answers. So maybe Claiborne is secretly really, really smart.
He is not.
Hey, you know him better than me. He was an LSU guy too.
If he's really that smart that he can hide it that well, he should be a secret agent.
Hold on, let me get this straight. We're talking about people that aren't smart, and they always seem to revolve around the state of Louisiana. Hey, LSU.
Hey, OBJ's smart. I mean, except for that whole part where he's dating a Kardashian, but you know, he football good.
Man, I can't imagine how angry Dynasty Frank is right now. Like, he loves OBJ more than anything, and he hates the Kardashians more than anything. So it's impressive. Like, who gets the trump card in that one?
I think you gotta go with where your real allegiance is. Like, the Kardashians has to be just a blind hatred against stupidity and ignorance, whereas OBJ, he's awesome at football, which he happens to be a big fan of, and he's awesome at football for his team. That's like a twofer.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
I think the other situation we brought up it might see a lot of change is Green Bay, but it's essentially the opposite of what's going on in Jacksonville. There's a whole bunch of people, but nobody's a surefire to take the job from anyone else. You know, especially at linebacker. You know, they've got they got Martinez, they got Ryan, they got man, I'm shitty with names today.
Barrington.
I kept wanting to say Morrison. It was one of those like uppity white last names, and I couldn't get it. I might edit that part out.
uh, oh man. Even
I
though he's not even white.
No, he's not, but it's like last year we had Todd and Melvin, and next year we're gonna have Leonard and not Nick, because Nick can go either way, but I mean we got Leonard.
Yeah.
That's a pretty white name. Oh, and Juju.
Yeah, well, the Bears got a Leonard this year.
They did. And as much as Tony wants to throw a fit about it, he's
It was
not
Thor. It was
Thor.
Thor. Yeah.
They're the same person to me. And they're going to love that part, but
Well, they are the same person because they trade whatever they want between each other because they're really just one team, and then they just collude with each other.
but he's really not that much worse than Vic Beasley. Yeah, he can't pass rush to the same extent, but he's got more ability in other areas of the game.
He's just raw. I mean, it's one of those things where he could legitimately be out of the league by the time his contract's up. He also could legitimately be franchise tagged his 6th year because he's that good. So
I'd be willing to bet on the latter.
Yeah. So when the draft happened, I had mixed feelings just because I thought they were moving up to get Tunsil. The Bears have no left tackle. They have backup quality left tackle right now, and so I wasn't as mad as some people, but after a day, I was like, okay, I get this pick. You know, like edge rushers do not make it out of the top 6 picks if they're polished. Like they go high all the time. If they're an immediate contributor on all 3 downs, they don't make it out of the top 5, 6 picks.
Like Mac was.
Yeah, and the trade up from 11 to 9 was like a 4th rounder, and then every pick after that, Pace was trading back, gaining 4th rounders. He picked 2 other guys that had borderline 1st round grades, 2nd round grades, and he killed it. And I'm just rubbing it into your face because he used to be a Saint.
He sure did.
Yeah, it feels good to have somebody that knows what they're doing.
I was always hoping he would kind of be the guy to take over when Loomis retired because he's not exactly a young man. Loomis is like probably 10 years older than
Tyler.
Not Tyler. That was not what I was going to say, but that's what we're going with now.
Hold on, what team are we on? Oh, Green Bay.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the linebackers, it's pretty steady from what it was last year. And linebackers might stay the same too. It's just muddy.
Yeah, Martinez is getting all the praise right now out of camps, but he's a rookie. He's playing. He's getting snaps. Barrington is still, I don't think, cleared or playing. The big news is they're moving Clay Matthews back to outside.
Which they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they need that pass rush, especially because, I mean, Peppers is, I'm not even exaggerating. He's closer to 40 than he is 30. He's got to be at least 36.
I'd be willing to bet he's probably like, outside of quarterbacks, he's probably the top 5, top 10 oldest players in the league right now.
Well, not only is he the top 10, he's like one of the top 5 grossing players in contracts. And it's all quarterback for the first top 20. And then there's Julius Peppers. That's like 4. Because he's been in the league so long and he's never gotten cut because he's been so good. And his contracts have just been elite money. And yeah, they're moving him back, Clay back out there. So somebody, one of those 3 guys is going to get IDP value, but it's all going to be about how you acquire them. Because if you drafted Jake Ryan last year, or whoever drafted him, is going to say, he's starting. And then if somebody has Barrington, they're going to be like, well, he's starting. And if someone drafted Martinez this year, he's starting. So to get all 3 of them on your team, it's probably going to cost more than you're going to get out of them. and then they're going to be replaced in a year or two. So
Absolutely.
I'm just really not that confident in. And I know we bring up or I've been bringing up Tyler a lot. Maybe I just miss him, but Morgan Burnett, again, he's cheaper than he should be because he's always broken. But this year maybe he's not broken.
It's not even he's always been broken. Last year was the only time he's missed significant playing time. He's been fairly consistent throughout the rest of his career. Yeah,
it was that whole every Sunday night he would give you a donut because he was probable and then he'd be done, or questionable every single week.
And they wouldn't announce it until 5 minutes before the game started.
Yeah. They have to
He's the whole reason I turned on the text message injury alerts from MFL. Like, for real, I after I did it like 2 or 3 times, I had to turn it on because before that, I'm just like, okay, I know who's not playing. I know who's playing. I mean, I got to watch like one guy 1 week, and that's easy enough. But I'm like, I can't do this shit every single week. But,
you know who is just throwing the biggest red flags at me right now is Clinton Dix.
He's completely overvalued.
He had a big year because Burnett was always gimpy, and look at how often 2 safeties produce big in IDP. It doesn't happen. When you have 2 safeties, you get Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, low DB2s.
And then you get Thomas
That's what you get.
and Chancellor going back to what he was scoring.
I'm sorry, I lost you. My connection's terrible. I pay $200 a month for this internet cable, and it cuts out. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I said, and when you have it like you did in Seattle, you have Earl Thomas regressing and Chancellor going back to what he regularly scored at.
Yeah, and you what you get is consistent high. It would be high floor but very low ceiling DB2s, and I mean, Haha's going right around Landon Collins ish. Like, what I've seen is DB 7-6 in that range.
Yep.
Give me Weddle. I'll take Weddle. I am all about old man Weddle. I've always have been. He's good. And he's got a sweet beard, and he doesn't take shit from the Chargers, so I like him.
And I can think of probably easily 12 safeties I would rather have over him. Yeah, at least 12.
Let's list them. Rashad.
So, easily.
Badger.
Burnett.
Collins.
I'd have Vaccaro over him.
Harrison Smith.
Yep.
Then you're looking at I'd take Weddle because I'm a crazy person. Then
I'm trying to
where you're getting close is
I'd take Neal and Joseph over him.
Yep. Did you hear me? It cut out again. Eric Berry.
I wouldn't have Berry over him, but I can see it.
Berry. Okay. Only talking about football. Like I mean, he's all pro on the field. He's got this weird. He threw up that one monster year in IDP, and then he just hasn't really. He's like a lower version of Harrison Smith, where he gets some tackles, but he's really big play dependent. But in a deep league, you can't do much better than Eric Berry for longevity when DBs cost some because you have 40 starting a week or something, and there's nobody to pick up. But yeah, there's what was that? About 9 that we would take over him easy.
Yeah, 8 or 9. And
Chris Conti.
Okay, come on. I enjoy being a hater as much as the rest of us, but I feel like the fact that you even brought that name up has to make blood boil in your body.
Well, I'm one of Chris Conti's biggest fans, and I say that jokingly. The fact that he's still in starting contention right now, just insane. You know what? I don't care about his drug thing. I'd take TJ McDonald over him.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
So TJ McDonald is, I think he's becoming a nice buy.
Him and Burnett. Yep.
Hmm. I would
I'm
not.
sure there's other ones I can't even think of right now. I think I'd rather have Cam Chancellor over him.
Oh no, 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 no.
Well, you're a Chancellor hater, so
Yeah. What about I'm a Cyprian hater. What about Cyprian?
I'd still probably take him over him because I still like Cyprian. But the more I hear you talk about it, and the more I can actually see the logic in it, I've bumped him down a substantial amount.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where the ceiling is so huge, but the floor is nothing. So if you only start two DBs, he's worth the chance. If you start four, hell no, I'm not taking Cyprian. So
Yeah, I can't think of really anybody else past that I'm that interested in, but I'm sure I will. In a half hour when we're done.
yeah,
Would you take
but it's
Cravens
one of
over
those.
him?
Well, Cravens isn't a safety though, or he's
I
haha. Probably just because I don't think Haha's even going to be good for a safety, man. Like
I don't.
once I think once the dust settles, he's going to be forgettable, and you're going to be able to get anyone that does what Haha does.
Yeah, I mean he's going to go back to putting up those typical free safety numbers.
Yep.
He might do a
All right.
little bit better than them because he can do a little more than just sit in coverage, but I not by a lot.
We're on board.
Yeah,
So my neighbors just came outside. They probably think I'm a crazy person talking to myself because I got
good,
my headset on.
good. Maybe they won't come over anymore.
No, they're cool.
Wow, it must be nice to have cool neighbors. My neighbors are drug dealers, so I'm
Uh,
also another excited reason to move because I'm moving into like a fancy pants neighborhood. There was like three houses that had their own gates and everything.
Probably a bunch of them have the last name Barrington.
They probably do. Well, no, down here they're Jim Bobs, but they're just it's engraved in gold on their door knockers.
Mm.
But the door knocker's a big old can of Miller Lite that they bronzed.
So you guys down there, you guys have door knockers, not doorbells?
With both,
Oh, I haven't. I don't think in person I've ever seen a door knocker.
really.
Yeah.
I have one in my house here.
Uh, the difference in the country, man.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess we'll move on to our submitted questions before we ramble on too long. Our first one comes from RL Kenya, Ryan, who's right over at FSCC. We hear from him all the time. What to expect of What to expect of the Jim Schwartz defense in Philly? For me, the biggest attraction is I want Hicks, I want Cox. I was wondering how much of a response I was going to get to that.
I try to keep it in. Um, yeah. Hicks is the one to own. People are. I think Hicks is one of those players where in one league he'll cost you too much, in another league he's a steal. But Hicks is the linebacker to own, not Kendricks. Also, obviously Cox, both in DT or DL, because he's consistent. He may not do as good as he did last year, but you're still talking low DL1 numbers. And you don't have to worry about a 3-4 ever. He just signed that mega deal. You know, he's one of those players where not only does he do productive, before he put it together last year. His last 3 years, he was really only dominant on the field, not in production as much. But he could put up more in this scheme.
Yeah, I mean, Schwartz has consistently put out top scoring defensive tackles with his offense, with his defense, anyway. So it's kind of just that perfect marriage of talent plus opportunity.
Yeah, and
I'd be
then,
looking to acquire him anywhere where I can get him at a decent price.
yeah, and then you got Malcolm Jenkins, who some will discount him because of age, but in IDP it doesn't matter as much. He's a DB1. I mean, low DB1, but he's there.
Would you take Malcolm Jenkins over
Would
Haha?
you agree?
I think I would. That one's closer for me than most of them, though.
You know what? I would. I'd take Malcolm Jenkins over him just because I think in 3 years when Jenkins starts to go away, Haha will already be gone away because he doesn't have that ceiling.
I think Haha's going to go away as an IDP asset, but I think he'll hang around in the league for quite some time.
That's exactly what I mean.
Gotcha.
He's going to go away value wise, and then the line. I'm all about Vinny Curry. Tyler, on the other hand, is about Oompa Loompa Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham's a little frumpy little ball. Like he gets all up in the huddle, and he's just this little. He's as wide as he is tall. He's
kind of like Tolbert.
Yeah, he's the Tolbert of defense. And we have a bet going, actually. Vinny Curry versus Brandon Graham. And Vinny Curry is going to just demolish him. But for defensive ends, I like Curry, but you still got Graham and Connor Barwin. It's muddy. I would take Curry I'd take any of them for free. But Curry's the best out of that group.
Yeah, any of those are not worth spending anything on, but for free, I'm willing to roster any of them if I got the spot.
Yeah, that about nails that down.
Our next question comes from @GingerSauce for you. What are your thoughts on Sua Cravens this year and moving forward? And I'm kind of sad that we don't have Tyler on here, so we can't see him get all worked up, because every time we talk about Sua Cravens, he just freaks the fuck out, and it is amazing. I like Cravens a lot. He was probably my number 3 linebacker going into the draft, and it hasn't really changed. I love the landing spot for him. I think he's going to see production. I think he might end up playing at DB for longer than people would expect. But even if he doesn't, it'll be a lot like Deion Buchanan, where he's still going to have value as a linebacker.
Yeah, I agree with you. He was at a point where if you were buying him at his price and he was DB, it was a slam dunk. And now it's just still a good spot to buy him. Like, you're not overpaying. It was free. It was free money if he was a DB. And now it's just equal, Washington has a pretty decent front 5, and then that middle after that line and those outside linebackers is just terrible. Like,
it's so bad.
Perry Riley is just terrible.
The only reason that name has any meaning to me is in like Madden 11, I used to wreck shop with him.
He's an LSU guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He would, because you get him in like they were my favorite guys to get, is like those rookie and first year guys that you could just develop and develop and develop. So I'd get him for free in that startup franchise draft, and he'd be a franchise player for me.
Yeah, he's not.
No, he is not.
So you got Perry Riley, then you got Mason Foster, who's a stopgap, low starter, high backup quality player. Then you got Will Compton, who is very similar to Mason Foster in talent. Like, that's just what they are. Cravens is going to come in there, and I think you're exactly – Deion Buchanan, it's the easy comp, but it's such a good comp. And I like him either way. Cravens, linebacker, Jack Jalen. Yeah, I take him 3. I take him over Darren Lee.
And see, I think I'd take him over Deion Jones.
Well, I would too, because Deion Jones is a dummy.
Well, Jones is my 3, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because you're a dummy too. So,
Well, I don't like Darren Lee because he's a dummy. He's another one of those. He runs fast, but he don't think fast kind of guys.
I just think he isn't physical, but
He's all about that athleticism, the speed, but he's gonna get his teeth knocked out.
mm-hmm.
Our next question comes from at Andrew John Sharp. Rookie IDP, who are the top 10 linebackers in this year's rookie drafts? I mean, we already kind of hit on it a little bit. Jack and Jalen are by far the top 2. After that, I've got, let's call it Sua. Let's call Cravens a linebacker for the purposes of this. Then I'm going Jones, and I think I got Vigil as my number 5, which Tyler poo-poos that every time, but actually I have Kevin Dodd as my 5, but that's with the assumption that he's eventually going to get N designation.
Yeah, I'm with Tyler on the Vigil thing. I don't like the spot. The bank Marvin Jones, I don't know what he is. Is it Marvin? Did I mix him up? Marvin Jones, the receiver. I don't know. I always confuse the coach with the old Cincinnati receiver. What's the coach's name?
Marvin Lewis?
Marvin Lewis. There it is. See, how many teams have a Marvin, and then Cincinnati has 2 Marvins? That's not even
white.
fair.
Why do I keep doing that?
But no, I don't like Vigil because Paul Dawson, will he ever get a shot? Probably not, because they love Ray Maluga. They're like, you are the most mediocre player ever. Let's give you contracts for life and snaps for life. And Vincent Ray gets the same treatment. And I'm just over it. I'm sick of the Bengals. I'm just done with their linebackers.
Ray
They anger
Maluga
me.
is the IDP equivalent of Jeff Fisher.
Yes, and I'm just sick. I want to get away. I remember how much hype there was for Emmanuel Lemur, and I just kept telling people, stop it. Stop. He's terrible. I could do just as efficient as him at run defense because I was probably fatter at the time. So when I get pushed over, I could trip guys easily, like more easily than he could. So I'm just sick of that. Let's get back on topic. So you like Vigil. I think I have Jack, Jalen, Cravens, Dion, Darren Lee. Right there, then you get the Ragland. I don't like Ragland.
I don't either.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Campbell from Atlanta right there. And then Vigil. Then you got Martinez from Green Bay, Morrison, and Scooby Wright because he's got a cool name.
Yeah, those are all the guys in my list, just slightly different order. I actually have BJ Goodson over Scooby right now, as much as I love Scooby.
Goodson's in New York, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's so much of it is just the draft capital and the potential for opportunity if Keenan kind of busts out there.
No, that's actually a very good one.
Joshua Perry is also another one I'm keeping my eye on just because, God, who do you even like in San Diego? They're all just different shades of brown.
Well, Perriman did not get much love in this channel, but he played damn good. But Timmy, our boy Tim Smith, I saw him. He doesn't tweet much anymore. He gets aggravated with Twitter and doesn't tweet much, which I think we all get aggravated with Twitter. But I did see him saying that he looked at film and Perriman didn't get. There was no penetration to the second level. The line was really holding blockers off him, so he was doing what he does best, which is getting downfield, shooting the gap, getting to the ball carrier, and he struggles when he has to shut a block. So he's one of those guys that people might be overvaluing. And Joshua Perry, he's got Perry has decent draft capital as well.
Yep.
He was 3rd or 4th round, I believe.
I think it was a 4th round. And see, that's part of my appeal with Vigil is I had him as my number 4 or 5 linebacker before the draft, assuming a day 3 grade, and then he goes in the 3rd round. So to me, that's just like, hey, this guy I really like. Apparently, they like him just as much, so I should probably bump him up.
When did they take Dawson? 3rd? 2nd?
Dawson was probably. I think Dawson was a 3rd round pick. He might have been a 4th round pick.
3rd sounds about right.
Yeah. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, do that.
Dawson has probably gotten so little love he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. No, he has one. Yeah, he went in the 3rd round too. But at least Vigil can play in coverage. Breeze died. That's sad.
Yeah, I lost you there.
All right, he's back. I'm back. We're all back.
So I guess the only thing I would say about rookie linebackers is there's a good chance that Jack's price will go down. Just the fact that he's not going to be a superstar right away. And if you're thinking about drafting Jack and you're thinking, oh, I need a linebacker right now, you better be shopping that pick for my number 1 guy, my number 1 target right now, DeAndre Levy. I want DeAndre Levy on my team for a 2nd round pick in this draft, because this draft is duty.
I might spend a late second to get Levy, but that would have to be in like our NPLB scoring and in even decent tackle scoring leagues. I'm still probably passing and trying to find somebody I can get for a 3rd round pick that's going to be a fill-in. But that's also because I don't think that linebacker is going to be that essential to a win now team. You know, you could probably piece it together.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify. When I talk about actual value, I'm talking 2 points per solo, 1 for an assist, and I'm talking your league is starting 50 linebackers combined.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So if I'm telling you to give a 2nd round pick and you start 2 linebackers in a 12-team league, hell no. Levy's barely worth a 3rd in that league.
I wouldn't give a 3rd for Levy in any start 2 linebacker league.
Yeah, so just clarify that. But if you're starting around 50, what I'm getting at is wherever you think, hey, I should take Jack here, and you want Jack to contribute right away, go shop that pick to people with Levy, to people with a NLB 1, because Jack was going to pencil into my like LB 7 overall before the draft, and that free fall just killed him for me because it shows that he doesn't have the longevity. So should I pay a 1st for Miles Jack, who might not have the longevity, or should I pay a 2nd for DeAndre Levy, who's 28, and people are worried about longevity, but you know he's a stud, and you know he's going to play 1,000 snaps if he's healthy.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
and I mean, especially just after last season, he's so undervalued right now that it almost makes sense just to get him regardless of whether you absolutely need him or not.
Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to our next question. Comes from @BigFatBob, who is our big fat buddy, who's not so big fat anymore. Who are your late linebackers to target? And the 2 that first come to mind for me, and obviously Keenan Robinson, because I refuse to let go. I'm like that clingy ex-girlfriend. And James Laurinaitis. I mean, Laurinaitis faded off a lot in St. Louis, but I can't imagine he's going to cost you anything to get right now, except for with those people that still just remember that name from 3 or 4 years ago. But he's going to get production in New Orleans this year. Other late linebackers, Can't think of anybody that attractive off the top of my head. For you?
Yeah, so I'll mix this question in. We also got a question from John Hall, and he asked deep sleepers, Zach Orr or Todd Davis. And I think they're both decent sleepers. Really, whoever wins the slot next to CJ Mosley, be that Zach Orr, Arthur Brown, that team does not have a strong safety other than Ladarius Webb, who is a converted corner. Like, the chance of them putting multiple safeties out there after Weddle, it's just not going to happen. Whoever wins that spot should, unless they mix and one of them plays base, one plays nickel, that spot next to Mosley should have a lot of value. So Zach Orr is definitely a good free pickup, as well as Arthur Brown. Todd Davis, he's the Trevathan fill-in. Denver also lost David Bruton, so they don't have the luxury to play like a big nickel with extra safeties either. So yeah, I love him as well. And you're talking, these guys are free.
Yeah,
like they're super free. Guys that aren't super free that I like for linebacker, I wrote down a list. We did not talk about this. James Laurinaitis. And I have been James Laurinaitis' biggest hater the last 3 years, because 2 years ago when I got on Twitter, James Laurinaitis was a borderline top 5, top 10 linebacker in rankings, like on sites, which was just asinine. It was paying for previous stats. And he's just not the same player he was. But this change of scenery means he will never leave the field, because Donnell Ellerby's not taking snaps from James Laurinaitis, you know? A couple other guys. Tahir Whitehead should be a full-down player in Lions. The Lions right next to Levy. This guy who last year, like, I might have had a couple dreams and we hung out with this guy because he was just so cool, and I really thought he had like top 5 upside, was Jelani Jenkins. And I'm telling you right now, this guy was broken as hell last year. And I'm not paying, I mean, he was top 15-ish dino linebacker for me. Like, I missed on him. He was broken. But he's super cheap now. Maybe not so much in established leagues, but in startups, because people forgot about him. And then I'm gonna go with Brian Cushing, the coolest man ever to hit Hard Knocks. Someone's got a tackle over there, and Cushing is super cheap because he's old and he's broken a lot, but he could be like legitimately free right now.
Yeah, I mean, and there's also other options. A lot of the rookie guys we talked about, the guys in Green Bay that aren't rookies, Jake, Ryan, and Barrington are both late guys you can snag up. And Rolando McClain, he's not still suspended, is he?
I don't think so. I don't think he's suspended, but I also don't think he's been working out in minicamp too. I think he actually told them, like, I want to spend more time with my family, and kind of just skipped all OTAs. I don't know about minicamp, but no, that is a good one, because people are already talking about Jalen Smith, so he's kind of like a 1-year rental.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq Thompson, I mean, his value's fairly high. He's probably going to be the most valuable out of the guys I've listed, but I mean, I've got to do this for Tyler and bring him up because Tyler's like the biggest Shaq Thompson fanboy. I don't think anybody else that might be interesting. I think Kevin Minter could still have some value, even if Buchanan's an all-time linebacker, which I mean he's supposed to be. And that's probably
he has to be. They have no depth. They have Minter, they have Buchanan, and nothing. Like, it's amazing how good that Cardinals team is and how little depth they have at corner and inside linebacker. Like they just have ignored the position to their fact where they're like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to win a Super Bowl if these positions don't get hurt, and we only have a year to do it because Carson Palmer is going to just be done soon.
I think Carson Palmer's got more life to him than we're giving him credit for. You know, he got slowed down a lot earlier
Probably does.
in his career, but I'd say Carson Palmer's probably got 3 years left.
He probably does.
And I mean, speaking of Arizona, one more guy that Tyler started turning me on to is Marcus Golden, who in the bigger play leagues, I'm definitely interested in him. But even as a stash in regular leagues, I'll take a shot at him. Why not? Screw it.
That's shocking. That's absolutely shocking to me that Tyler wanted to say, "Hey, you want to talk about this rush linebacker and how he has value?"
Right?
So let's see. Who did you hit? Oh, Shaq. Shaq Thompson. I have those 2 leagues I talked about. I have him in both now, and it's because rational people. I will say I'm probably not rational, but rational people see Kuechly and they see Davis. And not only are they good in IDP, they are both top 10 in the league.
Yep.
They will not leave the field. So rationality says Shaq Thompson is still a part-time player. But they have very little safety depth and corner depth now that Norman's gone. So I am praying that Shaq Thompson they play a big nickel instead of regular nickel, and they use Shaq Thompson as a third safety, which is kind of plausible. I don't think he can cover Brandon Cooks, but he could cover Larry Fitzgerald, who plays the slot.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, most corners in the league can't cover Cooks by themselves. It would be pretty limited to actually 2 corners in the NFC South last year were Norman and Trufant that could try and keep up. But outside of that, I mean, there's not a ton of guys that I would be like, yeah, they can probably keep up.
I mean, you're a Saints homer, and I get this, but I'm on with you. Like Brandon, like I know this is an IDP show, but Brandon Cooks, I am all aboard. I was all aboard last year with you. I was like, this is gonna happen. It did happen, but Brandon Cooks would be borderline untouchable right now if Drew Brees did not hurt his shoulder, because all Brandon Cooks did last year was torch guys. And there was about 3 weeks where Brees just couldn't chuck it. And you're looking at 60-yard touchdowns that just were incompletions, but they were wide open. But Brees just couldn't chuck it. So, you know what? I fight with you a lot. I'm not going to fight with you about Brandon Cooks.
I mean, he had that kind of speed where they had respected as a rookie. I was watching Atlanta tape, and they were giving him 7-8 yard cushions because they knew if they didn't, it's like, well, that's going for 60 yards if we don't.
Yeah, and not only do they have to respect his speed, like he's like his size actually sort of helps him, I think, because they're scared of him just pulling up on a short screen and just getting lost behind blockers it's like a bubble screen with him. He's Sproles like, and it's amazing. I love it. So
And Bill Lattin, we already kind of hit on the question, but I just wanted to kind of give him a quick shout out because he's doing Father's Day, pre-Father's Day stuff, watching the UFC fight. But he said, love y'all's touch on second tier rookie linebackers, which we did. And he says he'd love to hear our takes on them. But I wish we could add you on, Bill. Wish we could have heard your takes on them too. I know you and I did some chatting on the UTH draft show, but we'll definitely get you on here for another IDP show soon. And our last question comes from @Raider Buchanan. How do you see solo tackles production playing out in Minnesota and Chicago? They have new additions, waiver, draft, all that. Chicago is the easiest one. It's going to be Danny Trevathan. Danny Trevathan, he's probably going to double total sacks over any other linebacker or safety in there.
You said what? He was going to double?
Double. I just
How much
pulled it out.
how much have you been drinking? You forgot about my best friend in the world, Jarrell Freeman, who I've been riding his train like the train for years. Um, I think Trevathan is a low LB1, and I think Freeman is a high LB2.
I think you're high.
No, dude, no. Freeman is good.
I'm not saying he's not, but the cliff is coming.
Nah, he played in Canada a long time. Him and Tim were hanging out up in the A Canada.
Yeah, them and Cameron Wake, right?
Yeah,
Just because
dude,
Cameron Wake got to play till is playing till he's 34, 35 doesn't mean Freeman's gonna.
yeah, Freeman's like what, 29,
I thought
30?
he was old. I think he's older than that. I feel like he's bordering on 31.
Oh,
I might be
I,
wrong.
I like Tyler not being happy. So Freeman doing better would be great. But no, I think okay, maybe low LB1, mid LB2 for Freeman. Freeman's right in there like the LB20, I'd say for redraft.
Okay, he just turned 30.
Okay, neither of those guys are leaving the field for nickel. They're both 3-down players. They both cover really well. They're good at the run. Goldman's in front of them, taking on blockers. Akeem Hicks is a great ad.
If he decides not to be a turd burglar.
Yeah, exactly. They got a steal in the third round this year with Jonathan Bullard.
Yeah.
I like them both.
I had Bullard ranked super high for like DT premium before the draft, before he fell. Now I'm not sure what I want to do with him, but
Yeah.
I'm obviously being a little.
You know, the other thing they don't have.
What's that?
The Bears do not have a safety. They have Amos, but they do not have a force at strong safety, which is going to help both those linebackers. Yeah. I don't even know who's going to be the strong safety. They had Roll. They cut him. They got some Courtly, maybe. It's bad.
I couldn't even tell you who it is.
As a Bears fan, I kind of blocked out that position because I'm like, oh, we have no holes except a huge one that I don't want to talk about.
No. So. Yeah, I was probably being a little facetious with my Trevathan eval, but it was kind of exciting to see a linebacker that's actually going to produce in Chicago that is supposed to.
Yeah.
For the first time in, 3 years? Has it been that long?
At least. I mean, 3 years ago, Urlacher wasn't even there. Was it Briggs? And that was – he was hurt.
Well, I was thinking Urlacher. Was it was it longer than 3 years ago?
I'm gonna go with 4 years. I'm gonna go with 3 years ago. He was kind of like they said, "Here, take this contract or don't come back." And he was like, "I want more money." And they're like, "But you're not good anymore." And then it really burned bridges. But the fact that no one else signed him was kind of like the Bears. It was pretty Matt Forte-ish. People get all super pissed off that they let Forte go. Forte did not go and get good money on the market. He got Bilal Paul money. Like, it's almost identical. So I think they made a good call with Urlacher as well.
Now, in terms of Minnesota, I think that's where it's going to be a good deal muddier. I don't
Too much talent.
I would almost say Harrison Smith is going to be the number one tackle getter in Minnesota.
Nah. I don't think he's ever led that team in tackles, even when they were bad.
I don't know.
He's more of like a game changer, ball hawk.
I don't know. It like the chalk answer is Kendricks, but even then, there's enough good players on there that they're going to split up the tackles enough to where anybody could get it. You know, Barr, even though he plays in coverage, he's still going to get plenty of opportunities to make some tackles. What they brought in Brothers, and they're both going to probably do pretty well.
So,
I don't know about that. I actually don't like brothers all that much. I just wanted to make the joke that there's more than one of them.
So I would say, well, this question isn't who's going to lead. It's how do you see the tackles playing out? And he specifically says solo. So that must be a league that doesn't count assists, which that sucks.
That's a horrible league.
Because there's nothing worse than watching a game and you have two players on a defense and they combine, they each get an assist and you get nothing. Like if one of them just pulled up, but no, they both. I've seen it. But I'm gonna go with, Kendricks is gonna get a good share. Barr's gonna get a good share. Harrison Smith's gonna get a good share. But they just eat into each other way too much, like you said. Their defense is too good. Like their defense is, with Denver losing Trevathan, Malik Jackson, and possibly Talib for a little bit. Is there a more talented defense top to bottom than the Vikings? I don't know.
I would say the Rams are close.
Not after their secondary. They lost Janoris Jenkins and McLeod.
I don't know. I still feel like it's close. Maybe that's just because they have higher talent guys, but the holes they have are bigger holes.
Yeah.
Like if you had to assign a numerical value, the Rams might come out on top, but if you're looking at it as a whole unit, you're probably right. Minnesota probably got the better defense.
Because you're probably saying that the Vikings have two elite players, right? You're going to go with Harrison and Barr.
Yeah, that would probably be the two I'd go with.
And then Rams, you're going to say three, because you're going to say Quinn, Donald, Ogletree.
I would also throw in friggin' McDonald.
Like on the field player.
I think he's one of those guys that doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. But maybe I'm also, overvaluing because of how good he is in IDP. But I mean, it's the freaking the corner's name. I hate that I don't know corners' names. But he's borderline.
Xavier. Isn't it Xavier or something?
No, Rhodes is on in Minnesota.
Xavier Rhodes.
I'm thinking I'm talking about
Tremaine Johnson.
Yeah. I don't know. Ugh.
So they Jenkins and EJ Gaines.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else is really coming that close after that.
I think Vikings are more talented, and that's okay. But I guess the point is, there's so much talent that they just eat into each other, and it's detrimental to IDP. Like Kendricks is going way too damn high.
But we've been saying that since last year.
Well, it's still happening.
Yeah. But I think that hits that question up pretty well. And he's got one more question. It's will Dansby, DeQuell, or Derek Johnson regress? If I only have to pick one, I'm going to pick DeQuell just because he continues to just be like, look at the Grim Reaper and say, nah, fuck you, dog. I'm gonna go for another year and keep doing stuff. But likelihood, it's probably going to be Dansby. So Derek Johnson, for IDP, he's going to regress to whatever not startable position he's in now. But I think Derek Johnson will probably stay relevant as an actual player for a little while longer.
I guess are we talking about only 2016? 2016, Derek Johnson's still a baller, always has been. I have always been on his train, still am.
He just sucks at IDP.
Derek Johnson, like the Chief.
Yeah,
he's like an LB1. He's like 100 solos every damn year. He's healthy. Sucks at IDP. He's the one that's making Tyler wear a Bradford jersey.
Oh, I guess just I've never owned him, so I never pay attention to
Oh
him.
no, he's Derek Johnson. So the last
Oh,
5 years, I'm gonna say he's been an LB1 4 of them, and then he tore his Achilles at one time. He is a stud
I
in
guess it
tackle.
wouldn't.
Derek Johnson's a baller. You must be thinking about somebody else.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just. This is the moment where every IDP show we do, I say something that's really fucking stupid, and that was mine for this show.
Yeah. Maybe I'm being a little bit. I think it's gotta be. He's top. He's a top 12 linebacker every year. He's healthy.
He only had 4 combined tackles in 2014.
He got hurt in week 1.
Before that, it was 107, 125, 131, 121, and before that, I mean, none of them broke 100, but they were still fairly good. All right, so I was dumb. That happened.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 2016. I'm going Derek Johnson, stud in real life, stud in fantasy, LB1. But after this year, I mean, Dansby, I'm going stud in real life, bust in fantasy. He moved to the Bengals. Again, I hate the Bengals. Bengals linebackers, I'm out. I don't want to be, except he's old, so Marvin Lewis is probably going to give him every snap, but he feels ugly for IDP production. And then DeQuell, I'm going to say he's going to fade in real life, but he's going to live this year in IDP because Freeman's gone and that Colts team still has a bad defense. He's just going to soak up tackles. C.O. Moore might be there. That's a low blow right there, C.O. Moore. Nate Irving.
I was thinking it too.
Yeah. No, but when I say low blow, that's not even directing at you. I mean, you were a little higher than him than me, but I was still LB 13 and Dino like last year. So we all he's just an idiot. That's the only way to explain it.
Yeah, the talent's there. He's not as dumb as Justin Blackman and Josh Gordon, but he's borderline as talent. Nah, that's stretching it a little bit. I need to stop drinking.
Yeah, those are how those three go. If you have all three on the same team, ooh boy, have fun rebuilding that very quickly.
Go ahead and throw in some Martavis Bryant and some Rolando McClain, and who else is a dummy?
I was just talking about old people.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 3 that I was talking about being dumb. Blackman, Gordon, and CEO.
No, I was talking about his question was all 3 super old dudes. You might as well put pause on that team and take him to Old Country Buffet.
Country Kitchen Buffet.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
It got renamed?
No, the Country Kitchen Buffet is from the Grey Dawn episode of South Park.
Oh, gotcha. The Old Country Buffet by me went out of business. So all those old people must have died off and no more business.
Oh, well, I mean, at least we're saving money on Social Security. I might have just said that out loud. Oh, I'm surprised I don't get hate mail from this show. Like, at all.
That's not even bad.
Yeah, but I mean, fine, I'll just say it. Old people are a drain on the economy. Whatever. That was my political rant for this week. I know I'm your rant? Yeah, that's my rant. Old people are a drain on the economy. If there were less of them, we'd be better off.
Oof.
Yeah. And maybe I can say that because I hate my grandparents, but I'm sure other people have nice grandparents that they enjoy talking to and all that, but I don't care. Mine sucks, so I just assume that's how old people are. That and Tyler.
I think the thing about old people is they're either like there's no middle ground of old people. Like there are the people that are just really mean old people from what I've encountered. Really,
like Tyler.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like old people. And then there are like the nicest old people where you're like, oh my God, I want to take you home with me because you're so cute and you're tiny and you've shrunk a little bit because you're old. But is there really a middle ground of old people that are just kind of like, all right? I'm not so sure.
I don't know. I haven't met any. But then again, I don't interact with old people all that much, so the extremes are the only ones I really come into contact with. The other ones just kind of blend into the background, I guess. But that went sufficiently off topic. By the way, I don't know what your neighbors are doing, but they're sounding like they're having some kind of a party. I've been listening to them the whole show.
Has it been in the background this whole time?
Yeah, I could hear them the whole time.
They're playing basketball.
They're playing basketball.
Yeah.
Must be nice. It's 10:30. Who goes outside and plays basketball at 10:30?
They got their little they got lights on their garage and their hoops right up there.
I guess.
I don't mind them. They're cool.
I'm not complaining. I just think it's odd.
Has it been in the background this entire time?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how much it's going to pick up, but I'll probably leave this part explaining why they can hear it in the podcast, just so people understand, like, what's all that hooping and hollering going on? It's like, oh, it's just Breeze's neighbors playing basketball at 10:30 at night, which is totally a normal thing that people do.
Hey, is it any less normal than at 10:30 at night sitting on your deck with your computer with a headset talking to someone about football, fantasy football?
No, that's definitely way less weird. That's what awesome people do.
See. I mean, they're actually socializing with people next to them and having real relationships while I'm talking to you over the internet.
Hey, you know what? I would say that my relationships with most of the people in the Voxer group are real relationships. Like, y'all are actually my friends. Just 'cause we don't like see each other in person doesn't make it any less real. I spend more time talking to y'all than I do like most of my real life friends.
Yeah.
Well, granted, most of my real life friends are shitty or, wanted for different things with the law, and they kind of suck since they got out of high school. I actually have a friend that was in my wedding who is right now has a warrant out for kidnapping charges. I have no idea what the story is, but I'm very interested to find out.
Whoa.
Yeah. But like apparently it wasn't serious enough for him to like go to jail. So no idea. I'm kind of that's why I'm curious. Like, how do you kind of kidnap somebody?
Maybe if it's his kid, I guess.
Well, he does have a lot of kids with different women.
Man, we should have hit take off the air quite a while ago, huh?
Probably. But you know what? The only people that listen to the YouTube version anyways are the people who know just how stupid we actually are. So it's not like they're judging us any more than they already should be.
That is true. Is there anybody even on it right now?
No, we've had one that's been like in and out during the show. But that's about it. But yeah, I guess we're gonna call it a night. You got any last parting shots for us, bud?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We need to probably do it more often, especially the IDP show, just in general. People tend to really like that, and maybe we can keep less IDP content in the regular show, which people that don't like IDP tend to not like. But with that, this has been the IDP Playbook. I've been your host, Drew. You can find me on Twitter at DrewDotsonNFL. With me has been my special co-host, Breeze, Eric. Well, with me has been my special co-host, Eric. You can find him at Breeze IDP. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.